Hey guys, welcome back to Resin Bell. This month on Resin Bell, we're going to be doing 30 pours in 30 days. Oh my gosh. A resin on a resin channel? Shocking. I know, right? So we're going to be working with UV resin, epoxy resin. We're going to be doing dirty pours, coasters, jewelry, trays, all kinds of different things. So it's going to get wild. So I hope you guys stay tuned.
Okay guys, so today I'm working with this Temu Mold with the little frame and the Cameo. I just thought it might be kind of cute. And working with sterling mica from Counterculture DIY, as well as ebony and white snow dispersion color by Counterculture DIY, and fast set by Counterculture DIY. So lots of great products from them. I love their company, I love their products. So I'm just going to mix up this resin real quick and then we'll get started. Okay guys, so I forgot to hit record, but I've mixed up my resin, split it into two, and the first one I have added the ebony dispersion color and added some mica, the sterling mica as well. And this stuff is very fluffy, so when you open that up, be careful, don't breathe it in. So I'm just going to mix this in, and I'm very excited with how this turns out. I was planning to do kind of a aged wash on my piece to kind of build the details and stuff, but I love how this stuff looks when it pours and when it mixes. It's just so much goodness. You get all these, that black actually does show through, and then the silver shows through. It just makes it look really cool. So if you're looking for like a really cool like steel type color, this stuff works really well. So on this one I'm adding the white snow dispersion color and mixing that in, and then I will be adding a little bit of the mica powder as well. And I just love how this looks. It's just very creamy, milky, silvery. Love it. So on these types of molds with sharp, deep details that trap bubbles really bad, I like to prime the mold. And I'm just taking just a little bit of the resin and carefully pushing it into all of those details. And on this one is very, very deep details that I know would trap bubbles. So I'm actually bending the mold with my fingers so that I can get down into those fine little details. So now that I have the molds primed, I can go ahead and pour in my resin. My resin's actually starting to thicken up. The fast set resin does work pretty quickly, so you'll have to keep that in mind when you're working with that, but it's great for small pours. It's more of a coating resin, so it does heat up pretty good. If you try to cast with it, so be careful with that. I'm only using this because I'm using a very small mold. Otherwise I would use just a regular casting resin. So at this point I have a little bit of resin left over, just the tiniest bit, and I love this little Temu mold, the skull Temu mold that I've used in a previous video. It's great for adding your little bits of resin so you don't waste any, and then you can use those pieces later in another project. So I'm going to just demold these. It's the next day, and this is like a 2-hour resin, so I could have demolded last night, but you know, here we are. I love how this turned out, the black with the sterling mica powder. I was planning on doing a wash on this to make the details pop, but it really shows up with that shimmer and the darkness. So I don't think it's necessary to add a little aging to that. So that's pretty cool how that turned out. And the Cameo kind of does the same thing but opposite, because it's the white with the sterling powder, so it brings up all of those highlights, so you can really get the depth and dimension of that. If I had just done plain white, those features would have been kind of like lost, or if I had just done plain black on the other one, they would have been lost a little bit. So keep that in mind. If you add a little mica powder, that shine and shimmer can bring out your details. So this frame is a little bit small for the Cameo, but the resin was a little bit soft, so I was able to kind of bend it and pop it into place. If you have a very rigid resin, you might want to keep that in mind. You may have to sand down the Cameo a little bit, but for the most part it pops in there. And so I'm just going to take this apart and I'm going to add some E6000 glue, and that should hold it in there pretty well. You could use super glue, something like that. So I prefer the E6000 because it has a bit of a bendy quality, so it's not rigid, so if you drop it or bend it or something, the two pieces are not going to snap apart and come loose. Sometimes with super glue and stuff, you can have that issue. So E6000 is a great glue for jewelry purposes. So I'm just adding a little bit to the center. I don't want to add too much because I don't want it to squish out when I push that Cameo in the center. So yeah, that's gonna look really cool. I'm super excited about how this turned out. It's so cute. I actually got this mold because I love the detail on the frame, and I'm planning on doing some like miniature paintings and stuff with it. So I'm gonna make some more frames up in different colors and try to do some paintings and stuff, so that'll be fun. Anyway, I love how this turned out. I love that you can see all the details without adding any kind of acrylic paint or wash or anything. So I really like the difference between the two colors, and both of them using the sterling mica powder from Counterculture DIY. It kind of shows you the different colors, I guess, you can get using the same mica powder. You know, and this kind of eliminates the need to put paint or whatever inside, because of that shift. It really shows all those details, even in the white that I just added a little bit to. So I don't feel like, I don't feel like I have to highlight those with like acrylic paint or anything like that, because they kind of shine on their own. So I think that's kind of cool. I love the difference between the black with the mica and the white with the mica, and it just adds, you know, I don't know, it just looks so cool. I do love the little mold from Temu, and you know, that turned out kind of cool. I love how she turned out, so yay. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button and that subscribe button, and to see more videos in the 30 Pours in 30 Days series, check the link in the description box below, as well as affiliate links that do support this channel. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow.